viewers asked me if I would, before I started the hike, that if I would please do a how do you pack your pack video. And at the time I was reluctant to, because I know how things change and evolve. You start with one system, and by the time you're about 2-3 weeks in, you realize this system isn't working, you're gonna rearrange it. And I finally, after about 5 weeks, think I've got it down to what I think will happen for a good time, until I eventually find a reason not to. But I thought I'd go ahead and give you an update now so you can get an idea as to what order things go into my pack. I use the Z-Packs Art Blast pack, okay? And in it I have a compactor trash bag that I use as a bag liner, okay? So for an extra protection against things I want to keep dry. First thing I do is I typically will put on the outside of my pack, on the straps, my Z-Packs duplex tent and a piece of Tyvek that I got at a construction site for nothing. Okay, that's my ground cloth, that's my tent. That stays on the outside of my pack, and the reason is it's always wet, it's always filthy. You just don't want to put it in your pack with all the other things you want to keep dry and clean. So that stays on the outside and at the bottom. It also helps stand the thing up, so it's much easier to load. Now, first thing that goes in my pack, my quilt and my bag liner. They're both in a compression sack that came with the quilt. The bag liner fits in here just fine. So this goes at the very bottom of my quilt, of my pack. Next thing that goes in is my Thermarest X-Lite sleeping pad, okay? I just roll it, I fold it in half and roll it up to squeeze the air out of it and leave it just like that. I tried a couple of different ways. I tried folding it flat and putting it so that it was against my back, but this nozzle became a problem. Even when it was arced, it still now and then found its way to my shoulder blade or something like that. And this was just quicker, simpler, and easier to pack. So this goes in second. Third is my pillow, which is wrapped up with a Thermarest X-Lite bag inflator. I forget what it's called, but it's a pump sack. And so these two stay wrapped up together and go right in next to the Thermarest X-Lite sleeping pad. I try to make sure that all nozzles or anything hard is always facing in the other direction, away from your back. Next will go my dry bag. This is a large or medium-sized dry bag, and this one holds all my dry clothing. Everything I've got in here is really, except for what I'm wearing, is in here. I've got a hoodie in there. I've got another, 2 pairs of socks, some sock liners, things like that. So all that dry bag stuff, all that dry clothing goes in next. You push it down good, it will fit. The next thing that's going to go into the dry bag is my electronics. This has my 20,000 milliamp charger, a plug, and cords to charge my iPhone, which also charges my AirPods, and my headlamp, and my battery pack itself. And all of the cords that go in, that stays ziplocked separately just like that, and goes right in the dry bag, away from your back. Then I roll the dry bag shut. Get that down as tight as possible. Next will go my Ditty bag, which has first aid, toiletries, earplugs, medications, anything like that. All go in this one little sack here. Weighs about a pound. But that's a little odd, so you kind of like have to stick it off to one side. On the other side, you might throw things like a second dry bag, which I keep to put dirty socks or wet socks in if I have to hike in the rain and I've got wet socks from yesterday. I don't want to put the wet socks in with my dry clothing, so I'll put them in a separate bag. So I always have like a dirty bag, and this one's smaller than the other one. This is only going to last me a couple of days, but it gets the wet stuff out of the way. My knee wraps, which I'm not wearing anymore, but I'm going to keep them until I'm absolutely certain I don't need them. These 2 Ace knee wraps were great the first couple of weeks. I'm really not use them anymore, but I keep them available in case I have a problem. I set that in. Now the only thing to put on top of that is my food bag which has, right now there's about 3.5 days, 4 days worth of food in here. Then I'll add my puffy, okay? And I use the puffy to cushion the food bag between the food bag and my shoulder blades. There's nothing worse than being a mile down the trail and feeling a spoon or a cook pot or something really hard from that food bag digging into your shoulder blade. So I'll take this and I really just stuff it in there. I try to get it between this top bar here where my shoulder blades are and my food bag. Just jam it in there. It acts as a nice cushion. Gets everything in there good, and it's pretty tight. Now you're pretty much left to what are you going to put on the outside of your pack. I can close this if I need to. I will keep my rain hat. I have to wear this with my raincoat when it's raining because the bill will keep the rain hoodie from falling in your eyes. So this is always available. So I throw that typically at the top, just so I've got access to it. Then I can roll that tight and shut it down. Now, what goes on the outside of the pack? We'll start with the side pouches. A 1 liter bottle of water on a side pouch, and it goes on my right side as I'm hiking. 750 milliliter bottle will go on the shoulder strap up front. So this is one I want to be able to access when I am hiking. So they balance each other out just a little bit. In the pouch, there's a belt pouch that I kept on this pack. You can see it hanging right there. And in it goes things that I know I don't need access to during the course of the day. My little pocket knife, my headlamp, which I've only used 3 times this entire month, and I used them all on morning hikes when I left before daybreak. So this comes in handy sometimes at night, but 9 times out of 10 at night, I just use my phone to light up my tent to look for something. And once I find it, I don't need to light it up anymore. So this rarely comes out of that belt pouch, but when it does, it stays, it is very useful. Also available in there, in that belt pouch, is a fire starter my brother-in-law gave me. I have no idea how to use. I tried to use it, but I think I need a little more practice. So that goes in the belt pouch that I don't need access to during the day. The net on the very back holds a lot of stuff, but it holds things that I want access to during the day or I want access to early. First would be my tent stakes. I don't pack it with my tent. I don't want this to poke holes in the tent or the stuff sack the tent's in. So I keep these inside this net and I just toss them down in the bottom. Kind of keep them vertical but off to the right. My water filtration system, need access to during the day. Don't want to have to open the pack, shove that down in there. My poop trowel and toilet paper also go where you need access to it in a hurry. My 3 a.m. bathroom, when it's raining in the middle of the night, which is a Gatorade bottle, also goes in there. And I only put it in there, I only put this on the outside. I don't need this during the day, but I just don't want to pack it with everything else. So I shove this down in my pack on the outside net and just keep it out there. Also going on that outside net where I might need access to it in a hurry, my wind pants, my Z-Pax Virtus rain pants. These are awesome. They roll up tight and you can shove them in there quickly and get to them quickly. My rain jacket, again, something you might need and then you might take it off and then later you might need it back on again. You don't want to be opening your pack every 5 minutes. So you stuff that in there. On one side of the pack, you noticed I put a bottle of water, a 1 liter bottle of water. On the other side goes my Z-Seat butt pad. I shove that in the right side. So again, it's accessible when I want to stop and take a break and sit on a log or sit down somewhere. I will tie one bandana to the right shoulder strap to use as a sweat rag or a snot rag or something to just wipe the rain out of my face sometimes. So that's always out front. I've got the Z-Packs FUPA, and in this FUPA I will keep my Z-Packs wallet, a COVID mask, so I've always got that accessible if I walk into a store, some Leuco tape wrapped around a chapstick, you always need some kind of access to that, some hand sanitizer, my AirPods, if I decide I want to listen to some music along the way. Put your music on your phone. You're not going to have access to the internet 99% of the time, but if it's on your phone, it's not a problem. I have an ink pen in here in case I need an ink pen. I got a carabiner because I found a carabiner and I threw it in there. And so this will go around my waist, and then the pack will go on. The only thing left to put on this pack now are my camp shoes. The strap that I use to close this down with, I take a carabiner and I hold my two shoes together. I lay it up here. You snap that on, cinch it down tight, get this out of the way so it's not flopping you in the back or in the ears, and that rides on the back of the pack just like that. So this is a fully loaded pack with everything. Food for at least 3.5, maybe 4 days, and 1.7 liters of water, except this bottle may be a little bit empty. Probably weighs about 26 pounds, okay? I'm just gonna guess that because it's been weighed twice, and both times it came in at 26 pounds with approximately this much food and water. So I'm pretty confident. That includes what might be in here. Oh, my phone also goes in there. That's it. Other than my trekking poles, there's really nothing else. You know, I got a bandana and a buff over there. I'll typically be wearing that, and my clothes that I'll be hiking in. So that's my pack. That's how it's loaded. It's likely to change, but for the last month, this is how it's worked, and it's worked very well. So I'm very pleased with it. Hope that helps. Talk to you guys later.